I'll fly to Israel for the next SMX show.
Okay. I don't know when it will be, hopefully soon, but we'll
SMX 21.
Rank above, you left and you started Search Interactions.
Search Interactions with Shimon. Like I've known Shimon for years. We worked together, did it. And it was always very focused on like big content SEO. So like we did a lot of publishers, Viacom brands, New York media brands, Vox brands, a lot of like editorial training and how to create content for SEO, a lot of music labels. That was a big thing that we did. So he had his connections with Warner and started doing something I think is cool on the SEO side, SERP optimization. Basically like here's the argument for most media companies, right? If you wanted to watch Watchmen, you really have one choice. You could watch it on HBO or HBO Max, something like that, unless you're pirating it. But how it appears in the search engine, that's really important to them. So same with artists. So we would talk to labels. They'd be like, hey, we have these new up and coming artists. They would tell us the name of an artist. Go home and tell my wife and my daughter this person's gonna be famous in a week. They would be, and then we would help them make sure that like they would appear better in the search engines, like sort of from the get-go, so that they could seem better and bigger. Official streaming links, official websites, official social media.
That's interesting.
Lots of structured data and stuff.
So proactive SERP control.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Which I kind of overlaps with some of what I do now, because now I'm part of a PR agency, and part of a PR agency is reputation, corporate reputation, making sure people look the way they want, look as big as they are. You'll like see these giant companies and their knowledge panel is like a New York-based one that says they close at 5. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure this $4 billion company doesn't close at 5 p.m. and this isn't their only address. So, which I think is gonna lead into the topics we decided we'd talk about, but like SEO right now is, I think it's a little bit less siloed than it used to be. And like now it touches a whole bunch of things and how you appear in the search engine, because for most of us, that's the start of any journey, like to learn about a company or a product.
Yeah.
Go into search. Maybe if you're buying a product, you go to Amazon, but otherwise you go into search, you don't appear correctly.
I mean, they ruined our industry. It used to be SEO was just fun and games.
Yeah.
And making a lot of easy money. And now it's all this professional corporate stuff that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I mean, I think it matured, honestly, like as we matured.
Yeah.
Like SEO used to be all gamesmanship, and that was a lot of fun, like figuring out these crazy ways to trick search engines and like high text and do all this stuff. And I think the only vestige of that now is structured data. Like that's the only thing that like truly lives behind the scenes that the normal person doesn't see, that's just for search engines.
Well, now we have all these JavaScript frameworks that there's ways to do that also.
Right, but at the end of the day right now, like Google's, like it used to be inherent in this gamesmanship was the idea that SEO had to compete against what was good for your users.
Right.
Like, I made this great site, but Google can't see anything, so what do I do? And it was like, well, in the olden days, it was like, okay, put this white on white text at the bottom and like have all these hidden links, and you go to a page and like, if you click, it'll go to another page, and this page is a ton of content, and when you click, it goes to the real page. Thankfully, honestly, because we grew up, I think we're past that a little bit, where right now, Google's very focused on user quality and the user experience, and SEO is focused on user quality and the user experience. So
you seem that's a positive thing.
Yeah, I think it's a positive because
I'm just being sarcastic.
No, but I think honestly it's a good question, right? I think it used to be like people would think of, I have a good site and now I have to figure out SEO. And now I go to people and I say, no, SEO is this amazing looking glass that tells you what your customers think about you, because keyword research isn't just, I need to have the same keyword, 85 times on my page written and misspelled and with plurals and stuff like that.
Those tools, you put in one keyword and it would generate all these misspellings and variations, and you just create a page for each one.
Exactly, right? Like that wasn't valuable. That gamesmanship, that trickery didn't benefit anyone. Now a company can come to us, come to me, come to you, come to any SEO and say, well, what do people think about me? And you can use that. Like I've used that to help like huge companies figure out product decisions or how to rebrand themselves or what offers to do online. Like you get a lot of real value out of SEO. That was definitely not always the case in our industry.
I mean, the worst examples where we saw this a lot back in the early days, people optimizing pages to rank for Disney level cartoon names. I don't know,
Yeah.
like certain types of Mickey Mouse or whatever, and somebody clicks on it and gets hit by adult porn.
Well, I mean, that's whitehouse.com.
Yes, there's
Right,
lots
like
of
that guy was a
examples.
client. I don't know if I could say that. Well, let's see if it's got this. That guy was a client at Did It because he also owned a company called House.com,
Uh-huh.
and that was just arbitrage for real estate keywords and stuff like that. But like, yeah, back when exact match domains mattered and all this trickery mattered,
Yeah.
like it was a terrible user experience. You would click a link and it would take you to something completely different because people were like had
So
this
who
page
do you
with
credit
content behind the
for?
gas.
Who do you credit for maturing it? You think it's Google or you think it's SEOs?
So
Didn't Google kind of like force us to like, all right, now we got to do it the right way?
yeah. So here's another good blast from the past. I used to write for Search Engine Watch back
did
in the day, and what was the other one? No, I mean none of them are SE Roundtable, but I used to.
Oh, I don't, yeah, we don't. That's around. Well, Search Engine Land. I don't know
Yes.
If you want to write there, just let me
All right.
know.
But I think the most feedback I ever got. I wrote an article many years ago called "SEO Spam is Good."
Right.
My argument was that like it moves the industry forward. Like all this terrible, it's like hackers versus like the virus protection companies. Like
Right.
they only got good because the people creating viruses were good. I think SEO only matured because every time Google offered something, people figured out how to take advantage of it. They're like, hey, we'll give you this thing called meta keywords where you could tell us keywords that might be missing from the page. And people are like, cool, I'll spam it to
Right.
hell. And then they're like, okay, we're
still
taking it
happens
away.
today. It's funny. Like I'll write up something that's new.
Yeah.
I'll be like, how much time until SEOs go ahead and like just like ruin the whole thing?
Yeah.
Remember that just recently was the Google
News keywords they got rid of. They get rid of everything that's good because people
It
ruin
was
it.
funny. They actually built a feature where if you search for something, it would show a background on Google of that keyword. So if you just search for, I don't know, rock ideas, it would show you a background of nice rocks.
Right.
So then everybody in the SEO community starts searching for like adult-related search terms. And although it blocked most of it, there's some things
Right.
that did come up and Google had to turn it off. So
Yeah.
SEOs or whatever it is, anything new, anything fancy that Google gives us, they just destroy. It happened early with rich results, although they managed some, they really want to keep it. So they came up with some spam protection.
Rich results, the author structured
Authorship.
data stuff. I mean, right now I'm dealing with a lot of clients that are working on international.
Yeah.
There's a
Lang?
ton of hreflang spam out there. Well, they'll take the exact same page, put it at like
Intentionally?
/cn. Yeah, because they think if I make 100 versions of this page, change no content on the page whatsoever.
No, Google's
now
smarter
this'll
than that,
rank.
no?
Well, Google is smarter than that, but like it's people trying to take advantage of these things that like, A, on the good side moves the industry forward, but on the bad side, Google gives you so many great tools and then we break them and that's why we can't have nice things. So
Yeah. Do you take credit for anything in terms of breaking something that Google should have kept? I'll take credit for
Yeah,
authorship.
I think so. Yeah. So, God, everything is so old.
Yeah.
There used to be this thing called ModBlog.
Right.
It was like this old blog platform, and it had this amazing feature where every time you visited another mod blog, it would say so and so visited your site, and it would place a permalink on the site back to your blog.
Right.
So set up a whole bunch of them for affiliates. Me and Shimon, I think back in the Did It days. Shimon, if you're watching, it was I forget the shoe company. It was some shoe company. He'll leave a comment. Hit us up in the comments. So we wrote these scripts that just went around visiting every other mod blog, and within days we were outranking like companies for their own search terms, like ranking #1 for like DSW.
I outranked H&R.
Nine West.
I ranked H&R Block during tax season back in
Yeah,
the early 2000s.
exactly.
They never paid me for that affiliate stuff. Never. I sent them so
Oh.
many leads, but it was all for their names.
Yeah, DreamHost. I outranked DreamHost, and instead of paying me, hey DreamHost, they they're like, we'll give you credit. So for about a decade, I didn't pay for hosting, and anyone who wanted a domain, I was like, oh, I'll buy it for you. So now I have like 1,000 domains on my DreamHost account, and now I'm paying you. So it all worked out because it ran out.
Anyway, we
But-
tend to, but those experiments made us better at what we do.
Yeah.
And it gave us a lot of history to know, all right, next time Google releases something, what are SEOs thinking about in terms
Yeah.
of how they could go ahead and exploit it for their own benefit.
Right, but I've also think like I've matured, the industry has matured to the point where like it used to be 90% of SEO was like doing this stuff.
Right.
Right, like I used to literally, in the rank above days, we hosted services. Every time we signed a client, I would take 10% of their monthly fee, and I tell the account manager, that's your link buying budget.
Right.